Welcome everybody, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be beginning a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. This is a game I kickstarted way back in the day, about two and a half years ago, just after Wasteland 2 achieved its kickstarting goal. This is a top-down isometric role-playing game in the same vein as games like Baldur's Gate 2, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, those types of games. So, for those of you watching, you probably don't need a lot of introduction to those games, but just so... My name is Eltimar. We are going to be I'm feeding back on myself, that's excellent. This is a game I kickstarted. Cool. Anyways, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I just have my stream going at the same time. I'm just going to mute myself, actually, just so I don't hear myself talking. Alright, so we're going to jump right into the game. This is a game I'm going to be playing as a relatively evil character. I've sort of picked out what class and race I want to play, but I will go through all of the races and classes. We're going to be playing on hard mode. I was pondering expert mode. I'm willing to bet that I could probably do expert mode. I don't really want to do Trial of Iron just yet, not before my first playthrough, and Path of the Damned is it's supposed to be really difficult, so I might do that on my second playthrough of the game, but for now I'm just going to do hard mode, I think, and I'm going to leave it off expert mode. I'll have the helper stuff because I don't know a lot about the game. I did have access to the beta, but I didn't play it because I didn't want to ruin any of the new exciting aspects of the game for myself, so I just kind of stayed away from it. I have, again, looked at the races and classes. I know who I want to play more or less, although I might change my mind once I read out all the races and classes to you because I've been kind of indecisive about it. For those of you who will be watching the videos of this instead of the live stream, I will be breaking them into about half-an-hour intervals. It might be a little bit more or a little bit less, depending on...
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Apparently we have been stopped in our caravan. That's pretty cool. What I was going to say is they'll be broken into half-an-hour intervals. It might vary depending on circumstances such as combat or conversations, but we'll kind of wing it as best as we possibly can. So you can choose the standard male or female characters. I'm going to choose a male character. There are 6 primary races, which each has several different sub-races that can go with them. So there are humans, and humans are further broken down into... oh, there we go. So there's humans, which give you +1 resolve, +1 might. They're the meadow folk. All of the humans have the exact same special skill or benefit, I guess. So once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced to 50% endurance, folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. They all have the same one, so it's just really aesthetics. So savannah folks are relatively fair-haired and they look sort of tanned. Ocean folk are dark-skinned and dark-haired, and meadow folk look a little more paler with dark hair. Amoa. I'm gonna go with Amoa on that one. They are sort of like, well, this one looks like a Navi kinda, but they're supposed to be like half orcs. So they are basically the half orc of the game, more or less. They have 2 different subcategories. There's a coastal Amoa. They are viewed as warlike. They have towering physique, so they gain bonuses to defend against prone and stun effects, which is pretty nice. Island ones look a little bit different, of course, and they are armed to the teeth. All island Amoa gain an additional weapon set, which is kind of cool. And then there are, of course, the dwarves. Oh, sorry, MMO also get +2 might, just straight up, no other benefit or benefits, just +2 might. Dwarves get +2 might, but -1 dexterity and +1 constitution. Dwarves are a lot like the Tolkien dwarves you will know from fantasy cliches. So Lord of the Rings, you know, all the Forgotten Realms stuff. Dwarves are just short humans, basically, that are stocky and have better endurance. So they are hale and hardy. They have a bonus to defend against poison and disease. Those are the mountain dwarves. And the boreal dwarves gain +15 accuracy against any creature of the wilder or primordial types, which is kind of cool. Then there are elves, again, straight out of Tolkien lore / Forgotten Realms lore. They have 1 dexterity and 1 perception increase. There are wood elves, which have, against any enemy that is more than 4 meters away, they gain a bonus to accuracy, deflection, and reflex. And there are pale elves, who have increased burn and freeze damage reductions, which is neat. So they're good against magic. There's the Orlan. Orlan are a race of Kith. They're sort of like, oh, what was that race from Dragonlance? Halflings? No, they're not halflings. They have a different name. I can't remember the name for the life of me, but they're kind of like those. They're like little long-eared hobbit type people. They have +1 resolve, -1 might, and +2 perception. They don't make great warriors, but this one actually kind of looks neat. But anyways, there are the Hearth Orlan, which by attacking any target that has been targeted by a teammate, they convert some of their hits into crits, which is neat. And Defiant resolve on the Wild Orlans. After being subjugated to a will attack, Wild Orlans temporarily gain a bonus to all defenses. So actually they make pretty decent tanks. Godlike is what we are going to be going as, just because, I mean, humans, there's humans in every game. Half-orc / monstrous creatures, there's a lot of those. Dwarves, there's lots of those. Elves, there's lots of those. Orlan are relatively new, but they're still just basically halflings. Godlikes are pretty cool, and we're going to be one of them. The Godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with the physical aspects associated with the gods. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and Godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, Godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. They get +1 dexterity, +1 intelligence or intellect. There are 4 sub-races of godlikes. So there are death godlikes. When death godlike attack an enemy with under 25% endurance, their damage is increased. Fires get, when reduced below 50% endurance, fire godlike glow, like metal in a forge, gaining damage reduction and doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee combat. Moon, every encounter when reduced below 75, 50, and 25%. Moon godlike generate waves of healing moonlight that restore endurance to them and their allies, which is actually kind of amazing. I like that a lot. I kind of want to be a moon one now. I was going to go with death, but the moon one sounds kind of cool. Nature godlike, they grant a bonus to might, constitution, and dexterity when endurance is below 50%. So I was originally set on the death godlike just because they look really kind of cool. But maybe the moon one. That special is pretty fantastic. Although we will have a healer, so maybe we'll go death. I like the death one more. So we're going to take a death godlike. And we're going to go next. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 primary classes in the game. Each of them has different things that they do. So barbarians are a melee powerhouse. They're kind of like in Baldur's Gate 2. So they have lots of hit points, they have low armor, so they have not great defenses, and they have a lot of physical damage. Ciphers are a relatively new class. They are like a bard. No, it's a chanter, sorry. Ciphers are just, they're like psionics or, what's the name of that class from Dungeons and Dragons? Like mind knives or mind blades or something like that. They're like fighter psionics, basically. They can do psychic abilities and stuff like that, which is neat, as well as they are pretty good in combat. This one's carting around a two-handed sword, which is neat. There are fighters, straight up fighters. We already know what fighters do. Paladins is what we're going to be, actually. And each of these has different sub-classes too. Like if I chose Barbarian, oh, I guess it doesn't, but does Paladins? Paladins do. So there's different factions of Paladin. Is there different factions of ciphers? No. Any different factions of fighters? Nope. Rangers? Nope. Wizards? Nope. Enchanters? Nope. Druids. I just want to see if there's anything that has a sub sort of thing. Yes, you could just use a god as a priest. And rogues, nothing. Okay, so paladins are tanks, basically. They are holy warriors, although these ones in this game are not necessarily holy, depending on the faction they go with, which type of paladin they are. They're not paragons of good and justice and glory in this game. They do seem to be very tanky still, though, just from some of their abilities. They get bonuses to defenses, athletics, and stuff like that. They have high endurance, high health, average accuracy, and pretty good deflection. So I think that's what we're going to be choosing for our main character. There are rangers, of course, which are archers, basically, with animal companions, just like in Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards, again, much like Dungeons and Dragons, they fire spells. There's not a lot to say about them. In this game, spells work differently than in typical Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's more closely related to like 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons as opposed to 3rd or 5th. Chanters are like bards, but like warrior bards, so they do invocations based on their chant and they get bonuses based on that. Druids are shapeshifter / nature spellcasters, as opposed to wizards, which use evocation and stuff like that. Monks are unarmed combat type people, just like in every other movie / game where there's a monk. They don't do weapons, so they're like they're just warriors that don't use weapons. They're highly trained and skilled in the martial arts. Priests, much like what you would expect, are healers for the most part. And then rogues are stealthy, backstabbing damage dealers who are glass cannons in melee, so they're the same as they have always been. So we're going to take a paladin, and there are 5 factions of paladin. So there are the Bleak Walkers, which are, I'm just going to read their dispositions. So they're cruel, aggressive, disfavored dispositions, benevolent, and diplomatic. Oh, sorry, they're disfavored to benevolent and diplomatic. So we want to be demanding, cruel, and aggressive paladins. There's the Darkosi paladins, or Paladini, sorry, who are passionate and clever, but they disfavor cruel and stoic. Gold-packed knights are stoic and rational, and they disfavor passionate or aggressive. There are kind wayfarers, who are benevolent and passionate, and disfavor deceptive and cruel people. And the shield bearers of Saint Elkga are honest and diplomatic, and they disfavor cruel and aggressive. So we're going to be a Bleak Walker. And for our first ability, we can do Flames of Devotion, which adds 100% burn damage for our next attack. Not bad, 2 per encounter. Or Lay on Hands, field ability, heal. So I can heal somebody the amount of endurance, a substantial amount of endurance. So 34.3 endurance over 5 seconds, and once per encounter. Let's go with Flames of Devotion. That sounds pretty cool. And we're going to have a healer, I'm pretty sure. Now, they do tell you what you should pick, because that is important, because otherwise you might not know what to do. Constitution, I've heard in this game, is not super duper important, so don't worry a massive amount about Constitution. Dexterity is for balance and reflex and stuff like that. Not terribly important for a paladin, but Might, pretty important. We're going to give him some Might. We're going to give him a whole bunch of Perception, because it's highly recommended for a paladin. It gives us interruptions, deflections, and reflex. Intelligence gives us more area of effect stuff, so we're going to pump some. Ooh, we're actually running out of points. And Resolve is also highly important, so maybe we'll knock off a couple Mights, and we'll knock off a couple Intellects, and we'll grab some more Resolve. Resolve gives us Concentration, Deflection, and Will. And I think we're just going to put one more into Might. That looks pretty good. Perception, Resolve, Intellect, Might. It's pretty good. I'm not min-maxing. I don't know a massive amount about this game yet. So we're just going to go with that. Our culture changes these stats again. So we can be an Aedier, which are the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world, centered around the equator in its tropical climate. The Empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world. They get +1 Resolve. The Dreadfire Archipelago. Okay. Wow. Archipelago. Or Archipelago, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is Dexterity +1. The Exemetal Plains. Exemetal gives us +1 Resolve. Old Vila, or Valia. I'm going to say Valia, is +1 Intellect. Rautai is +1 Constitution. The Living Lands is +1 Might. And the white that wins is +1 perception. So the kind of dumb thing is you put your stats in and it already has one pre-selected for you, because otherwise you have to go back and change your stats. So we were supposed to be from the Examital Plains, but I don't want to be. I want to be from the... That looks pretty cool. I want a sword. Who has swords? The Aedier? Do we want Resolve? Resolve's pretty good. Why not? Or maybe we're supposed to be from the Aedier. So let's go with the Aedier. That sounds pretty good. Our background also gives us some abilities. So we can be an aristocrat, which gives us +2 lore, a dissident, which is +1 stealth and +1 lore, a hunter, which is +1 stealth and +1 survival, a mercenary, +1 athletics, +1 lore, clergyman, lore +2, colonist, survival +2, drifter, stealth +1, survival +1, laborer, athletics +1, mechanics +1, merchant, lore +1, mechanics +1, and slave, athletics, survival. We don't want to be a slave, because that's not cool. We're going to be a merc. I think a mercenary sounds like us, so athletics and lore, that sounds good to me. Our primary color will be black. Oh, that's kind of neat too. Oh, let's go black. Black and black, that looks good. We're going to choose a different head though, because there are... Wow, it's kind of messed up looking. Alright, maybe not that one. I'm not a huge fan of the horns on that one. What about this one? That is pretty cool. That is what we're going to look like. That is pretty spectacular for a dark paladin. Alright. So, we're going to head down. Do I pick a name somewhere? I'm guessing I should probably pick a name next. Oh, there we go. Is there a different face that matches our face more? There are a lot of faces in this. You can also add your own custom portraits. I'm not going to in this particular one. In a game that I would make my own like whole party, I might, or I definitely would, to be honest. But this one, I'm not. Is there only one male death one? Ah, that's pretty cool. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go with the male death one. That's what we look like now.
Well, now I am the leader of the group. Kill them all!
That sounds exactly like what I want my character to sound like, and his name will be Eltimar. Alright, we are done. Let's go right into this thing. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you are planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
The whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day.
Oh man, I'm gonna get dysentery already. This is the quickest Oregon Trail ever.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
Well, don't scare
I know
too
you
much.
want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
He nods in our direction. Sparful nods and slides the worn bow over his shoulders. I'm going to say... Where would I find these
They grow
berries?
on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
What are those ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear.
Fair enough.
Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
He added with a wink. Alright, so a little thing popped up here. It says your character's attributes, skill, class, race, culture, and sex may open up options for you in dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to others, but give you a wider variety of choices. So, normal role-playing stuff. So who did build the
Got
ruins?
different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Alright. Is it dangerous out
Not
here?
if you hurry about your business,
I'm a paladin, I'll be fine.
and not if the weather holds up.
There is concern in his tone, but he does not elaborate. So what kind of weather do they get out of here, or get out here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beawick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
So basically you're saying it's a rift from Dragon Age Inquisition. Got it. What are these huge rocks coming out of the ground?
They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
Alright, I'm gonna go see about those berries then.
Hold on.
Oh,
Take someone with you.
I guess
I
not.
know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the night's journey sleeping on uneven ground without blankets or pillow. That sounds pretty rough, actually. I wouldn't do
Alicia.
that.
Kalisha!
Her name's Kalisha. Okay. The woman looks up on her own time, so she's slow and kind of
He
arrogant.
needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
That's exactly what I expected a barbarian to say.
What kind of guide says something like that?
That's exactly what I expected
Kind
her
you
to
can
say.
afford.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't listen to her, you're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything.
Odema chuckles and shakes his head. He looks at you, and then he also casts a sidelong glance at her before he said the second part.
Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Fair enough.
You heard the man. Let's get going
Take
before you
care of
keel
it.
over.
Now,
What
I'm
is
just
it?
curious. Okay, good. I can just select one character at a time. I was watching a couple of videos, and it looked like one person was just like always on group move. Now, where's the dude I need to talk to? For items. Caravaner. Go away. I know that there's things. Caravaner. Okay, where's the shop? Maybe it's over here.
Anyone need supplies?
Yes, I do. You see a man wearing a simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by the ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles. It's covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
Do you have any berries? So I can just buy them here and then not worry about it? No. Doesn't look like it. Alright, fair enough. What am I even using for items? Let's find that out. So we have a breastplate, which is 8 damage reduction and minus 40% recovery speed, so we're not very good with it. We have a one-handed sword, which is 12 to 17 slash damage, and has a 0.5 second interrupt. And we have a medium shield, which is 12 deflection and minus 4 accuracy. Our little guide is wielding two one-handed, mostly just one one-handed weapon and a torch. So she's got a battle axe, and she's got a torch, and she has scale armor. We actually have a lot of hit points, or she has more hit points than I do. So she has 236 health and 48 endurance. I have 210 health and 42 endurance. So she's a little bit better than me in terms of endurance. Alright, I'm actually going to turn up my speeds here, or can I? No. I don't want auto pause. Scroll speed, let's up that a little bit. 2? Yeah, let's try 2. Maybe a bit more. 3. 3 should be good. That's much better. Okay. So let's head out. The only reason I'm using arrows as opposed to the mouse is that... What are you? Your name is Sparfle. Hello,
I'll
Sparful.
have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
I don't know if I believe you. Alright. Looks like we have enough gear for now. I'm not going to bother going back and shopping anymore just yet. We'll probably sell some stuff later. Yeah, there's a whole stream. Yeah, clearly water was the most important thing, or the hardest thing to find. See if you can scare me up some water. We're like 8 feet away from a stream. Super.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
Oh, there's some wolves. Alright. Pausable real time. Yeah, we know about that. Okay. So, let's go fight. What do we got?
Well?
So I could use my Flames of Devotion, but I'm not going to quite
you
yet.
need?
And she's got Knockdown, which is twice per encounter. Actually,
What
this is
is
an
it?
encounter ability, isn't it? I might as well use it. Yeah, I know about how combat works. Thanks. Damage reduction, limits the amount of damage. Got it.
What you need?
And this is an encounter ability too, so we might as well use it. Okay. Not super exciting combat if you keep pausing it to tell me things. Sometimes you're well suited. Why my characters can play? Yes, okay, thanks. Got it.
What is it?
Let's do another one of those. We have lots of health still. Alright, one wolf is dead. Scored a critical hit. Nice. Critical hits are better than hits and they do things. I wonder if flanking assists in this game. I actually don't know. Let's find out. Seems to be doing okay. Go
What is
down,
it?
dog. Let's see. So we found 2 wolf
As you
hides. Not
wish.
super exciting, but that'll do. Now, what's up here? Looks like a dead... Don't want to say it's a cow or a... No, it's definitely a cow. Dead cow.
This is it.
This is... What is it? That's it? That's the berries we're looking for? Oh. You look like you've seen your share... you look like you've seen your share of action. What do you do... Or what did you do before you came out here? I was a blade for hire. Yeah? How is it you happened to come here? I've never been good at anything else, but I need to go where there's work that pays. You do what you can to survive. What else can someone be expected to do? Kalisa breathes in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer makes a girl think. I'll give him that. You here to settle, like the rest of the lot? It's a hard offer to pass up. Settle what? You won't find many offers like that in these parts, believe me. Got some big plan in store? I'm going to... I have no idea what I'm going to do next, because that's the truth. Completely spontaneous, huh? Interesting. Well, there's probably no hurry to make up your mind. They've got an inn in Gilded Vale. That'll put you up for as long as you need, or so my sister tells me. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odema will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. Why are you here? My sister moved out here. Oh, sorry, she sighs unevenly. Her eyes search the ground at her feet. My sister moved out here some time back. She sent me a letter. She seemed worried, but that's how she always is. This time, though, she asked me to come out, and that's got me a little worried. I haven't seen her in ages. Been doing guide work in Examital. But I'd do anything for her. She's a much better woman than me, so I'm here, and we'll see. Odema, I've worked with before. He don't usually drive route this way, but he's doing it for me. Tell me about yourself. I've got simple needs. I like open skies and far horizons. I find work that lets me live that way. My family wanders too. We started in Deerwood, but my parents ended up living in the Living Lands. I've got a brother in Rautai and another in Adir. My sister in Gilded Vale. She's the only real homebody. What can you tell me about... I think it's Direwood actually, instead of Deerwood. I'm not much for history, but from what I know, it used to be part of the Adir Empire. Broke off after some years back. The locals here are feisty, and that's how they like it. I've been out of touch, but I've been hearing weird kinds of things about it lately. People having trouble giving birth, I guess. A lot of them. Been going on for years now, but somehow it's getting worse. With an uneasy tremor in her voice, she adds, I'll have to ask my sister more about it. Alright, let's go back to camp. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfell's getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like, when he feels like it. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get you your water. Well, that's good. For those of you watching the video, this is going to be the end of the first video right here. So So if you are watching the recording of this instead of the live stream, leave any comments and suggestions below, and we'll start the next video immediately following this one. The live stream will continue going. By the way, for those of you watching,